Today we're going to be talking about your environment at your church. How do you make the environment in your kids' area as warm and as welcoming and as interesting as can be? Well, one of the ways that you can do that is by painting your walls. And today we're going to give you a real brief look at what our walls look like here at King of Kings. And all of this information, both the images and the instructions on how to paint, are found in this DVD, which is called Paint It Yourself. This is our Kids City area, and this is where our older kids come during our Sunday school time. And so you're going to be able to see some of the images that you would be able to purchase if you bought this DVD. What I'd like to do right now is talk to you a little bit about what we did here. Before we did any painting along our walls, we primed the walls. That's probably a really good suggestion. The paint adheres to it better. It'll cover up anything on the walls that you don't want to see later. So what we did first is we primed, and then we took an overhead projector and we projected the images. And you can see they're pretty large onto the walls. One of the cool things that you can do with these images is that you can always flip your transparency over if you want to have a little bit of a different view on some of these things. But as you can see, we first trace these. Remember to trace them in pencil. If you trace them with a marker, with pen, it's probably going to show through after you paint. So we traced these with a pencil, and then after we were done with that, we filled in with the paint colors. We do have some paint color schemes on this DVD, or you could choose to use your own colors of paint, whatever you'd like to do. After the paint was dry, we went over all of the images and outlined them with a Sharpie. That really brings a distinction and clarity to all of the images. One other thing that I wanted you to note, and we're just going to look at it right here, is that let's say that you've got some sort of obstacle on your wall. For instance, we had a light here, and what we just did is that we incorporated that light into the scene. So we just turned it into a lamp. Okay? So that might be something that you could do. Just make the most of it. There are some things, you know, that you just can't get around in your building. And so just work with those instead of trying to fight against them. One other thing that I wanted to quick point out is that with each scene that we've got here, we've got a verse that coordinates with it. So for instance, on our lamp here, we've got I am the light of the world. Over here, in our little sports scene, we've got the Bible verse from 1 Corinthians, the victory is ours through Jesus Christ. And again, all of these things are in the DVD, so you don't have to, you know, do a whole ton of brainstorming yourself if you don't feel like it. And we're just going to take a kind of a slow walk here, quick a second, so you can kind of see this. Really, we've got a large church. This actually used to be a factory, and we had a lot of walls to cover. But these images do a great job. They really warm up the place. It used to be totally gray, and now it's a really fun, kid-friendly environment. Win a prize that lasts forever. So you can see how this really transforms a space. So if you're looking for a quick and easy way, just get some volunteers, ask them to help out. You know, paint doesn't cost a lot of money, and if you use volunteers, it'll really cut down on your expenses as well. But it's a great way to transform your space. And that's your latest tip for raising kids in Christ.